the top stories of the news. Inec reviews 2027 general election Ramadan overlap, pledges inclusive access. Uniban students protest over blackout, water shortage, block school gate. On the foreign scene, China to scrap tariffs on all but one African country from May 1. Good afternoon and welcome to Spring News at 12 on Western Spring Television. My name is Olufemi Alaway. The Independent National Electoral Commission INEC has addressed concerns over its recently released timetable and the schedule of activities for the 2027 general election, particularly regarding the dates fixed for the conduct of the elections. INEC had on Friday announced that the presidential and National Assembly elections will hold on February 20, 2027, while the governorship and state assembly polls will be held on March 6, 2027. However, concerns have arisen from some Nigerians, especially Muslims, over the date of the election. As they noted, it falls within the holy month of Ramadan, stating that the physical demands of fasting may impact voter turnout. Notable among the voices is former Vice President and former presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Atiku Abubakar, who urged the Commission to reconsider the date. However, INEC, in a statement by its Chairman of Information and Voter Education Committee, Mohammed Haruna, said the timetable was developed in compliance with the timeliness in the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended, the Electoral Act 2022 and the INEC regulations and guidelines for the conduct of elections. He stressed that the Commission is currently undertaking consultations and may, where necessary, seek appropriate legislative intervention to address the concerns raised, while ensuring that any adjustment remains consistent with constitutional and statutory requirements.
The Commission hereby sets in motion the electoral process for the 2027 general election and fixes the date of the 2027 general election as follows. 1. Presidential and National Assembly election will come on the 20th February 2027. 2. Governorship and State Houses of Assembly will be 6 March 2027. The detailed timetable and schedule of activities have been uploaded to the Commission's website this morning and circulated, or is being circulated to register political parties and relevant stakeholders. Campaigns by political parties shall commence on the date specified by law and end 24 hours before the election. I must also take a moment to address the current electoral amendment bill that is pending in the National Assembly. This bill has sparked important discussions and concern among the various stakeholders in our democracy. We recognize the necessity of enhancing our electoral framework to ensure that it meets the ever-evolving needs of our society and reflects our aspiration for free, fair, and credible election. It is imperative to note that while we are eager to adopt any amendments that may strengthen our electoral processes, we must also act in accordance with the existing provisions of the Electoral Act. As an independent electoral body, we are committed to upholding the rule of law and ensuring that our actions are guided by established legal framework. The timely announcement of the election date is a critical step in this process.
Meanwhile, the All Progressives Congress Secretary of the Federal Capital Territory Council Election Campaign Council and Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Benjamin Kalu, has declared that the APC will deploy intensive grassroots mobilization, including door-to-door engagement and youth-driven strategies to reclaim the area councils in Abuja. Kalu made the remarks while inaugurating the APC FCT Council Election Campaign Council in Abuja on Friday, where he appealed to Igbo voters by emphasizing inclusion and representation as central campaign messages to residents of Igbo descent in the FCT. The Independent National Electoral Commission (Inec) has fixed February 21 for the FCT area council elections. In the meantime, the 138-member APC FCT campaign council will be chaired by the Kwara State Governor Abdulrahman Abdulrazak.
Governors from all the 6 geopolitical zones. And the reason why we brought people from all these zones is because in Abuja or in the FCT, we have people who are from all these 6 geopolitical zones who resides in the FCT. So the people from the South-South will take care of the South-South people resident in the FCT. People from the South, governors from the Southeast that are in the campaign council, led by the secretary of the campaign council, they will take charge of the South.
I assure Mr. President and our party leaders that we will work as a team with local stakeholders and community influencers to deliver FCT to the All Progressive Congress. I'm confident that the good people of the Federal Capital Territory across the 6 council areas will come out to align with our party and show truly that APC is not just the party of now, but also the veritable vessel to Nigeria's progress and sustainable future.
We are saying the fact speaks for itself. You can feel our development, you can touch and experience what we have brought as dividends of democracy. So there is going to be less job for us to do. Yes, we struggled in the time past because there were no visible evidence of the impact of the government within the FCT. But no reasonable person can say the same thing currently. So we are here to convince our people that the government that has done this for the people of the FCT and the residents, that they are charged to do the more.
To security, the lawmaker representing Borno South, Ali Ndume, believes the U.S. military support for Nigeria's fight against insurgency is a step in the right direction, arguing that the country needs all the help it can get to crush insurgency. The lawmaker stated this in a news chat on Friday evening, noting that the country now has this window of opportunity and must utilize it. The former chief whip of the Senate that one of the major setbacks in the fight is a lack of certain resources, and now America has agreed to provide those resources free of charge. About a week ago, General Dagvin Anderson said both countries have increased collaboration in defense and security, but he did not give details of the collaboration, with reports claiming that about 200 U.S. troops are on the ground in Nigeria. Although there were concerns over the development, the Defense Headquarters explains that the security partnership is focused on capacity building, professional military education, intelligence sharing, logistics support, and strategic dialogue. Senator Ndume also corroborated the DHQ's position, clarifying that U.S. troops are not involved in direct physical combat. In another development, students of the University of Benin, Ikuwan campus, this morning blocked the school gate over a power outage and lack of water for the past 3 days at the institution. This left many stranded, including workers of the university, business operators, and several people who had social engagements in the school. A student who gave his name as Prosper said he was sad that despite paying the school and other fees, the management of the institution had continued to fail in its responsibilities of providing basic amenities for students. Another student said the campus had been without light and water for the past 3 days, and that last night an unknown person armed with a cutlass tried to enter the girls' hostel, noting that he inflicted an injury on a student while trying to escape. The presence of the Deputy Vice Chancellor Q1 campus of the university, Professor Adeshina Ayede, did not assuage the students. Adeshina told them that plans had been concluded to provide water for the students today, while the issue of light was being sorted out. Moving on, the Adamawa State Police Command has beefed up security ahead of President Bola Tinubu's planned visit on Monday to commission some major projects executed by Governor Ahmadu Fintiri. In a press statement issued this morning by the spokesman of the command, SP Suleiman Nguroje, he stated that the security arrangement is to ensure that there is no breach of security during and after the president's visit to the state. He said that the Commissioner of Police, Dunkwambo Morris, has convened a strategic meeting with security commanders and senior officers of the command to review and strengthen existing security measures in the state. SP Ungoroje disclosed that the state police boss has ordered the deployment of operational assets, including the police mobile force, counter-terrorism unit, surveillance squad, crowd and traffic control unit, among others. He said that the teams are expected to carry out covert surveillance operations in the state. The police image maker pointed out that the state command is working closely with other security agencies to ensure hitch-free visit. Elsewhere, Vice President Kashim Shettima has called on African countries to build resilient health sectors and shift the focus from reliance on foreign aid to self-sufficiency. Shettima made the call on Friday at a high-level side event on building Africa's health security sovereignty on the margins of the 39th Assembly of Heads of State and Government of the African Union, AU, in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Shettima, who represented President Bola Tinubu, said Nigeria stands ready to collaborate with every member state of the Union to make health security sovereignty measurable in factories commissioned, laboratories accredited, health workers trained, counterfeit markets dismantled, and insurance coverage expanded. He cautioned against the consequences of vulnerability, citing global health emergencies like the COVID-19 pandemic. When the world turned inward, Africa waited, improvised, and negotiated for rationed vaccines and scarce oxygen. He added that health security is a national security, and in an interconnected continent, national security is continental security. Shettima outlined measures being adopted by Nigeria to tackle health challenges, saying the nation is currently treating health matters with every seriousness under the leadership of Tinubu.
Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, sovereignty in this context does not mean isolation from the world, far from it. It does not mean retreat from global cooperation. It means preparedness anchored in competence. It means the ability to prevent outbreaks where we can, to detect them swiftly when we cannot prevent them, and to respond decisively before a local crisis becomes a continental or global emergency. It means that the health of our people is not subject to the uncertainties of distance supply chains or the shifting priorities of global planning. We have all lived through the consequences of vulnerability. When the world turned inward, Africa waited. When vaccines were rationed, Africa negotiated. When oxygen was scarce, Africa improvised. There is dignity in endurance, but endurance is not a strategy. Leadership is measured not by how long we can withstand vulnerability, but by how deliberately we reduce it. Health security is national security.
You're watching Spring News at 12 on Western Spring Television. We'll be right back after this break.
I am Josh Tufoni. I'm a comedian and I like to make people laugh.
Fly